The fact that there are mushroom guys in the War Within, in Dragonflight, and also in Ardenweald is questionable, right? And definitely should make us go, why? Clearly, this is now starting to become a theme, and I have a feeling that this theme may also pull forward into the tree people. That may actually be a storyline that pulls forward on that one. Not the knife phase, no. The new primordial trolls. This may actually be story, because if you remember correctly, it is in Ardenweald, a mushroom like this, the Haranir. That's the one. The Haranir, or the mushroom in Ardenweald is the one that tells you that the Winter Queen claims that she's the one that built Ardenweald, but that he was in Ardenweald before the Winter Queen even. So clearly these mushroom guys are quite old. Were they perhaps around even before the dawn of the old gods and the arrival of the Titans? So they might be a very fundamental part of like the early history of the Great Beyond. I also, by the way, have an insane theory that I'll share with you guys on Friday about everything. Everything's wrong, by the way. Everything that we know, everything that you believe about the Titans, everything that you believe about Azeroth, everything that you believe about the cosmological universe and the Great Beyond, it's all wrong. It is all wrong, and the Titans tell us that it's all wrong, but I'll share that with you on Friday. The bigger question here, and the story that I think is actually far bigger than the mushroom people, because right now the problem with the mushrooms is we don't know much about them. They have popped up in Ardenweald, they've popped up in Dragonflight, and now they've popped up in the War Within. Sure. But outside of that, not much is known. There is another theme that we now see play itself out, and this is now for 2 expansions. In Dragonflight and now here. This, the Decay, the Rot. So if you guys remember, the quest line in this area is you trying to figure out how to cure the rot that has taken hold, right? Now, many players will think to themselves, well, Akko, we did cure that. We killed the big rot beast, and that took care of the rot. But you would not have focused on the lore then, because the lore of this area actually says that the big guy was meant to be a guardian. The guardian then started to rot. In other words, the rot predates the guardian that we killed. So the guardian is not the one spreading the rot. The rot was here before. Now the rot is the same as you get in Dragonflight. What's that area called again? Oh, come now. In the Dragon Isles, in... Oh, where is it? Braconite Hollow. This over here. Right, so the rot is the same. Braconite Hollow, if you go back and if you read about Galacrond is a primordial drake that starts eating other primordial drakes after he's corrupted by the waters, the living waters, or so they say. That was corrupted by Yogg-Saron, right? Now, the waters that they're specifically referring to is the ones in the Ruby Life Pools over here. So the Ruby Life Pools, of course, are fed from this area here in Valdrakken. These water aqueducts run all the way into the Waking Shores, into the Ruby Life Pools. Now, it says that it was Yogg-Saron that poisoned or corrupted these waters, and then what's he called? Galacrond drank from these waters. Now, of course, I'm taking a few liberties here, because it never explicitly states that it was Yogg-Saron that poisoned the Ruby Life Pools. However, there is mention by the Titan constructs about how they had to cleanse the ruby life pools using arcane magic, and then they funneled even more arcane magic into the ruby life pools in order to change the drakes that were hatched there. So I'm taking a few. I'm inferring, shall we say, that this is what Galakrond drank, and this is where Galakrond became Decay, or eating the primordial ray. One of them came first, the other one came second. Don't know. We don't have any evidence for it. But this area here is entirely Decay. Anyone that's ever been there, if you don't remember, just go there and you'll see Brackenite Hollow, absolute Decay. This area here, not as much Decay, but also Decay. Rot. Why? What is the reason for this Decay? What is Blizzard trying to push with these Decay realms? Because originally, my theory was that Brackenite Hollow was built on top of maybe the Decay primordial drakes, right? Or maybe the realms of Decay, the primordial realms of Decay. But now that we have Rot and Decay also rearing its ugly head in this area, surely we can't have two realms of Decay. So this suggests that the force of Decay is active, even though we don't know where it is. There's a flesh kind of Decay too, or is that a bit far? No. Cillian, it 100% is. The Curse of Flesh would also be Decay. Because remember, if we're just constructs, we are not subject to Decay. But as soon as we become flesh, we are subject to Decay, we're subject to death. All of this stuff does happen 100%. So yeah, you're 100% correct. The Curse of Flesh would also be Decay. This does drive into question a lot, right? It immediately starts you down a path of wondering, was it even the old gods that gifted us the Curse of Flesh in the first place? Considering we're starting to see the first elements of let's just quickly do this. If we look at the cosmological map of World of Warcraft, oh my, can I get a better one, please? We'll go on this one. It's fine. If we look at this cosmological map, there's never been any questions about Spirit. We know what Spirit is. We know what happened to Spirit. The Titans told us. There's never been any questions about Fire, because we know who Ragnaros is and we know who the elementals are of Fire. There's also no questions about Air. We've seen their elementals as well as their Alakir, the Lord of Air. Water, same thing. We've seen the elementals. We know who the elemental lord is there. Earth, same thing, right? Therazane, mother of the earth elementals, all that. The one elemental spirit that or spirit realm that we've never encountered is Decay. It is nowhere. Nor is there ever any explanation for why it exists or why it doesn't exist. It is completely and utterly ignored by the Titans. If you go through the whole of the Chronicles, they don't speak on the realms of Decay. They speak on what happens to Spirit. We know that fire, water, earth, and air is present, right? But then nothing is ever said about Decay. Now, I've heard people say, but Akalon, actually, you can't really use Decay because Decay is just a natural force. To that, I would say, so is fire, so is water, so is air, so is earth, so is Spirit. And yet, we have actual beings connected to Decay, right? Or not to Decay, to all of these other naturally occurring elements. Why then would Decay be placed on the same level as the other primordial elements and Decay is the only one that does not have a realm. Could it be that Decay was locked up? Remember, the Titans hate change. It's important that you know this. Why are the Titans so obsessed with order? Why do the Titans hate flesh? Why do the Titans make everything into pure, pristine, perfect, mechanical beings almost? It's because they hate change. Because change is by its very nature unpredictable. Which suggests the Titans would hate Decay. Because Decay is by its nature unpredictable change, right? You don't know how it's going to change, you just know that it will change. It stands to reason that what the Titans did on Azeroth is they locked up the primordial element of Decay. And not only did they lock it up they didn't lock it up the way that they did fire, earth, water, wind. No. These motherfuckers were locked up good. Like, real good. To ensure that they will never come out. And it might be that with Braconite Hollow that we got in Dragonflight, and now with Boskrid Basin, Decay's prison may have started to weaken a little. Maybe just ever so slightly. The Vengeance, I agree. It would explain so much. Isn't Decay the mushroom people, fungus? Z, I don't know if they would be Decay. Because it would also make them the most unique of all of the elementals, right? Because remember, they have actual bodies. Yes, they're fungi, but they have actual bodies. None of the other elements have actual bodies. They're pure elements. So it's far more likely that the mushroom people were simply taken by Decay. Claimed by Decay, as it were. CCS, I would be surprised beyond surprised if this didn't have some kind of connection to Gorak Tol, and to the realm of the Death Druids. I would be super surprised. Because if you think about Death Druidism, which is what the what are they called again? Gorak Tol and his people. What are their name again? This is the beast, by the way, that we had to kill. Rotbark the Unfelled. Oh, damn. Thank you. The Drust. Lords, thank you for the 3 months. Really appreciate you. But yes, the Drust. What is Death Druidism? Other than druidic nature or magic using Decay. It's literally all it is. If druid magic is using life, then Death Druidism would be using Decay. No? Decay is a fundamental component of life. Without Decay, life cannot exist. So where druids tap into the life part of Decay, or of nature, the Drust tapped into the Decay part of it. But both are drawing from the same. So yes, I believe these mushroom folk, the Rot, and then also the Drust are fundamentally connected to one another. And it might be that the Drust figured out what the Titans had done. And this is why they decided to start using death magic. Because they realized just how out of balance Azeroth had actually become.